Let's be a success story together. That's our inspiration for our family, is Travis and Dane, because, I mean, they had a dream and they didn't let anything stop them. Walt Disney, same thing. Colonel Sanders, same thing. Babe Ruth held the world record for home runs. And what people don't know about Babe Ruth, he probably still holds the world's record for strikeouts because he swung at everything that came down the plate. That's what I do. I swing at everything. You know, what's the worst that could happen?
There's a place in Southern Oregon filled with gorgeous natural beauty, friendly yet independent people, and a mild, comfortable climate. That place is called Grants Pass. These are the stories of the people that live and work in Josephine County. These are the movers and shakers that make this place the best. This is Grants Pass VIP.
Joy Hiler has been with Epicure for 2 months and is partnering with Once Upon a Horse to fundraise for a mobile spay and neuter clinic because they believe in helping with the pet population. Joy Hiler, welcome to Grants Pass VIP.
Thank you.
So why don't you let us know a little bit about who you are and how people might know you.
People might know me because I've been in the community between scouting. We raised our children here. We have a bunch of kids here that went through North Valley High School. And I've been a member of the Chamber of Commerce for about 21 years. I sold cookware here in the Valley, and I've sold Arbonne here in the Valley for 21 years. Recently, I came across this Epicure. Epicure has become the mainstay for me in passion. I'm so passionate about sharing Epicure with everybody. So my girlfriend Candy, she sells Arbonne. We've known each other for years, you know, and our friend Audrey, we were talking to Audrey about it too. Epicure has a fundraising program. And I was so brand new to Epicure. Audrey is just a couple of weeks in further than me. So Candy said, there's a fundraiser. And we said, yeah. So Audrey and Candy and I are partnering doing this fundraiser, and we're dragging other people in with us because we cannot do it by ourselves. The fundraiser, through Epicure, they have boxes, pre-made little boxes of, it's like a meal plan for a week. You get 6 pouches, 5 meal pouches, and a dessert pouch. It's $25, and the organization gets 40%. So we're selling fundraiser boxes because we need to raise money to buy a mobile spay and neuter clinic for Josephine County. This comes so deep in Candy's soul to help animals, and now she's dragged Audrey and I into it, and several more. We have several more of our friends that are on board helping us with these Epicure kits, because the pet population, you know, there's a gal here in town that does a voucher that you can get that will help you with the cost of the spay and neutering of your animals. However, it doesn't cover the cost. And the veterinarians are booked so far out, most people can't get in before they've had a couple more litters of, you know, critters. Mm-hmm. What Candy and I and Audrey are working on is getting this mobile spay and neuter clinic for the Josephine County so that it can go travel where the people are. It can go out to Williams. It can go to Cave Junction and Selma and the outer line communities out here in Merlin and stuff, and help people with their spaying and neutering. In order for us to do that, we need deep pockets and long arms because it's not cheap. It's not going to be cheap to do. However, we're so passionate about it. We know that just because it's never been done doesn't mean that it can't be done. So we're just taking it inch by inch because that's how we believe that life is a cinch. You know, if we take it yard by yard, it's going to be hard. So we just keep selling our fundraiser boxes. And we just today found out that Thomason Hospitality Group bought 10 boxes from us. We love corporate sponsorship. What we're going for now is to find corporations here in the area and even out of the area, it doesn't matter to us, that want to sponsor kits for all their employees for Christmas because the holidays are coming. So what would be a better gift for your employees than a week's worth of meals? Like, you can give them, you know, a coffee card, or you can give them something, but if you give them an Epicure fundraiser kit, they're going to eat for an entire week. Mm-hmm. Now, because Candy and Audrey are single gals, they would eat for 3 or 4 weeks on the kit, you know, because it's like every pouch is 4 to 6 servings. Mm. And so for the single gals, you know, or single guys, the Epicure pouches are going to last longer than a week. But for a family of 4, it's going to be perfect for a week's worth of meals. So wouldn't that be awesome? Mm. Wouldn't that be awesome for some of the corporations here in Grants Pass? and in the outer line communities to sponsor fundraiser boxes for their employees, which would help us so much in raising our funds. Would help us.
That's fabulous. So what's the goal? What's it going to take to be able to get that spay and neuter?
Well, it's a $250,000 unit, which is why if we could get corporate sponsors to come in with 50,000, we'd be there.
Yeah.
Because our fundraising efforts have just recently began. You know, we've only been in a couple of months. We've sold hundreds of boxes of fundraiser boxes, you know, of Epicure boxes. People like Dave Thomason stepping up and saying, yeah, I'll buy 10. And then K&L Chem Dry here in Grants Pass, they bought 10. If we can even sell them by tens, then that's going to add up rather quickly as well. Anybody that wants to do a corporate sponsorship like that, we would love to have them contact us. And they can buy as many as they want. Buy 100 if that's what they want to buy. We just feel like it's such an incredible gift to give someone a week's worth of meals.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
Fabulous. That's great. So we're meeting here just to give everyone an idea. We're meeting in early August of 2021 here. We're on Joy's property, and you said you've been here since '87.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Were you already in Josephine County? What originally brought you here?
My husband and I were 20-something, and we lived in San Diego, and then we found out we were expecting, and my husband said, I never wanted to raise kids in the city. And he said, isn't there any way, like, do we have to live here? That was just not what our idea was. Yeah. And we bought our first house when we were 19. I was 19, Donnie was 20 when we bought our first house in San Diego. And so he said, well, you know, I don't want to live here. We came up to Shasta, and we looked at Shasta, and when I was 17, my house burnt down, and so I lost everything. When we came up to Mount Shasta, it was too expensive for us because we were just kids, but also I needed to be in a fire district. I felt really strongly that we had to be someplace where there was firefighters. We looked in the San Diego paper, and there was property in Oregon, $1,000 an acre. We contacted the realtor that had it listed. His name is Randy Richardson. He has since retired. However, Randy Richardson said, well, I can show you some property. We came up. Kenny was a teeny tiny baby, and we carried him all over looking at properties. We finally bought one on Forest Glen. So I think back in 1984, 85, we bought the property on Forest Glen off of Azalea Drive. And then we were sitting at home one day. We sold our house. We're sitting in a rental one day. We called Randy Richardson and we said, 5 acres is not enough. And he said, you'll never believe the piece of paper. Because dig that, Brian, back in the day, the multiple listings actually came on paper.
That's right.
They weren't flash driven all over the place like they are now. A piece of paper came on Randy's desk. 30 acres, $30,000. And so we said, well, we'll be there tomorrow. And we had already had another son by then, and he was teeny tiny. So we came up here when Kenny was tiny and when Mark was tiny. We said, you know, Randy, we want it. Buy it on, you know, sight unseen. He says, I would never do that because I know y'all too well. Because we want very specific. We want trees. We want privacy. We want, you know. So he said, come and look at it. So we flew up here on New Year's Eve, or on the day before New Year's. Randy showed us on New Year's Eve. We bought it on New Year's Day. And then we had to go back to San Diego and pay for it. We wanted to just be debt-free and move to Oregon and live the rest of our lives. So then we had another baby. And we said, oh, we have to get the heck out of town. We cannot, we've got to get out of San Diego, you know. And we had already bought another house by then. We sold the place on Forest Glen, bought this, bought a house in San Diego, flipped it, then said, well, we've got to get out of San Diego. So we moved up here in 1990 when Eric was a tiny baby. Oregon brought us back 3 times with 3 small children. And then we've had the honor of acquiring 2 more kids since we got here. We're totally stoked about that. We've been building our house, like I said, living on the property since 1990. And it's been an incredible experience. Tremendous amount of personal growth.
Yeah.
We had no power, no flush potties, no running water for 17 years. So when somebody suggests we go camping, I suggest we not. The only way I will go camping is at the Hilton. There has to be water, spa, carpeting, you know. I'm very specific with my camping.
Been there, done that, huh? Not
doing that again. Not. It's traumatic. It's PTSD for me to camp again. Yeah. However, now we live in this gorgeous mansion that my husband built. Yeah. And then, like I said, it was just by sheer luck that I found Epicure because I wasn't shopping for a new job. I was actually retired and living on the land, just farming out here. You've seen all we have going on. We have peacock, peahen. We have a bear come through the other night. We have chickens. We have koi. I mean, I was not looking for more on my plate. And then I ran into Epicure and said, you know what? Everyone has to eat. And because Epicure is gluten-free, non-GMO, vegan, and salt and sugar conscious. And I said, well, how is that possible that Epicure's been in business for 25 years and we've never heard of them? And it's because they're from Canada.
Oh, okay.
Epicure started in Canada and has only been in the United States for 2 years. When I saw that it was only in the United States for 2 years, less than 2 years, a couple months ago, and I said, you know what? This is a ground floor opportunity to bring Epicure to the United States. So if I could bring the word of the gluten-free, good food real fast, in and out of the kitchen, how cool would that be? Mm-hmm. And so the further into it, and now realizing that people are tired of cooking, and people are busy. So we have busy people, tired of cooking, want good food, maybe don't know how to do it. So Epicure has meal solution pouches that all you have to do is follow the directions on the back. Put this in a pan, do this, do that. And even my girlfriend Candy, she only has a kitchen because it came with the house. That's the only reason why she has a kitchen. And she can cook with Epicure.
Yeah.
Well, I'm pretty sure if Candy can cook with Epicure, anybody can, because it's so easy to do. Yeah, the further I get into the Epicure culture, the more excited I am about it. Because this mother and daughter are the CEO and the founder of Epicure, like I said, in Canada. And they're passionate about bringing gluten-free. They triple test it to make sure there's no gluten in it. Mm-hmm. There's no nuts in the entire factory. I mean, we have a grandson that is deathly allergic to nuts. Mm. How many people are allergic to nuts? Epicure doesn't even have nuts in the factory. There's no gluten in the factory. They're absolutely passionate about bringing this healthy food, clean eating, now to America. Now we're lucky enough to have it in the United States. So, yeah, I drank the Kool-Aid and I'm a lifer. I'm in. I'm in, Brian. It's the coolest stuff ever. The other thing I was going to tell you about it is that I just promoted to what's called leader. So that's, I think, 5 ranks in 2 months. It's been so easy to talk to people and tell them about the fundraiser. I have several other people that are starting fundraisers for their organizations. It's just been so incredible to be able to help people raise funds for their organizations and for Once Upon a Horse, for us to partner and do the Spay and Neuter clinic, just to bring good food to families, make it so simple for families to go in the kitchen and have food and sit at a table and eat together. It's just been incredible. Anyway, I'm super stoked about it, and I could just talk for hours about Epicure.
Oh, that's great. So what originally led you into this lifestyle, into this line of work?
Well, I sold Arbonne for 21 years. Before I did Arbonne, I did Lifetime Cookware. A lot of people here in town used to call me the pot lady because I sold pots,
Yeah.
So, and I did that for 15 years. I'm kind of I wouldn't really say kind of. I am a brat when it comes to working for someone else because I want to own my life. I want to own my time. I have responsibility here at the house. I have to go out and take care of the hens and take care of my peacock and the koi. I mean, I have actual responsibilities, within my family. Having a 9-to-5 for me never worked. And because I want to determine how much I make, when you work for someone else, it's like, well, I think I'm going to pay you $10 an hour. But what if I think I'm worth $100 an hour? Am I ever going to, in that job, work up to $100 an hour? What are the chances of that happening? Probably not. So if I want to make $100 an hour or $1,000 a day, that's really up to me to do that. And the only way that I've ever found to do that is not by working a job, because I believe those JOB represents just over broke. Kaplan Auto Body here in town, they pay what's called a living wage. They pay their employees enough that they don't have to get a second job. But there's so many people that work 2 and 3 jobs, do side gigs just to feed their families. Well, with Epicure, because I do the Epicure and Candy does the Arbonne, when you do a home-based business like that, a direct sales like Arbonne or Epicure, what ends up happening is you determine your own value by how much you want to work. I'm really good at self-working, you know. Nobody has to tell me what to do or what time to go to work. I was a paralegal in my 20s, and I went to work all the time and did paralegal work. Well, I was a debt collector, paralegal. So I was mean. I would take dining room tables with cereal on them and put the cereal on the counter and take the dining room table because it was secured by my client's debt. The person had stopped paying, and it was like, if you're not going to pay, I'm taking the table. When I got to Oregon, I didn't want to be that person anymore. I didn't want to be the person that said, tough luck, too bad, you're having hard times, we don't care. I didn't want to be that person. I started doing direct sales when I moved to Oregon because we were building our house, and I found Lifetime Cookware. I could apparently sell Lifetime Cookware. That was kind of where I got the bug, you know, of not working for somebody else, was through my friends with the Lifetime Cookware. And there's so many people in Grants Pass and their surrounding communities that have their Lifetime Cookware and will always have their cookware, and their children will have it, and their grandchildren will have it, because when I find something that I believe in passionately, there's no stopping me. That's why I did the cookware for 15 years. Then I got tired of working at night. I raised my kids through high school with the cookware, and I just got tired of working at night because I had to do the supper parties all the time. So after I got done doing the dinner parties and I just couldn't work at night anymore, Arbonne rescued me, and I could do Arbonne during the day. Anytime I wanted to, I could do Arbonne. Just most recently, like I said, I was basically retired, not looking for anything else, and then Epicure found me, and then I said, okay, there's so many opportunities available, and I'm still young, so why not take on a project? And then for Candy and I and Audrey to feel the spaying and the neutering, it's the saddest thing ever, because there's people that cannot afford to spay or neuter animals. There's animals running amok everywhere. Feral cats and tearing apart trash cans because there's folks that cannot afford spaying and neutering. I mean, why not?
Yeah.
Why not get a mobile spay and neuter clinic? Why not? Let's do it.
That's great. You were talking about the boxes that people can purchase. And I imagine there's individual products that people can purchase.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. If anybody wants to go to my website, joyhiler.epicure.com, JOYHILER.epicure. Epicure is spelled EPICURE. Now, Brian, by the way, the definition of Epicure is someone that likes fine wine and fine food.
Oh.
That's why the Epicure products are going to be far superior, because people are like, well, so you have Montreal steak. Well, I buy that here. Montreal steak seasoning. The reason why Epicure is different is because of the sodium content. Epicure is actually going to give you the steak seasoning and not kill you with the sodium. In our Epicure Fundraiser boxes, we have a taco seasoning mix. And most people, honestly, Brian, most people don't connect with their food. If you will connect with your food and actually read what it is you're eating, it could make a difference in your health. Because I had a taco seasoning pouch in my pantry. And I was in there one day and I said, oh, I'm just curious about this. And I looked at the back of that pouch, and it has 430 milligrams of sodium per serving. And that's how you have to read the labels.
Yeah.
That's per serving. Okay? So if you have 2 tacos, you just got 860 milligrams of sodium. In the Epicure taco seasoning, we have 15 milligrams of sodium. That's a significant difference. That's an apple and an orange. You know, Epicure is not even on the same planet as that stuff. And if it was, it would be a $12 pouch because it's so incredible.
That's great.
So incredible. You know, the other thing about Epicure that is so amazing is if you want to store your food, like if you're a prepper and you want to gather some food up, Epicure, because it's vacuum sealed and in the sealed pouches, so the jars are vacuum sealed and full to the top, by the way, and the pouches are vacuum sealed, they will last forever. The only thing for the flavor is you might get a little bit of diminished flavor, but they're vacuum sealed, so they're supposed to last forever.
Oh,
so they're great to store, to take camping, just all around amazing.
That's great. Okay, let's take a break from that conversation. I wanted to bring up a question for you. During these crazy times, do you feel like your business is indestructible? Most people don't. And if not, the real question is why? And what can you do to make it as indestructible as possible. Well, that's the basis of my new book, 9 Ways to Amazon Proof Your Business. Let me talk about what we discuss in the first chapter, determine focus. So one of the main ways that you can Amazon proof your business is by determining the focus of your business. And the real problem isn't that you're not doing enough. The real problem is that you may be doing too many things in too many places. So one of the things I suggest is decide whether your focus is going to be acquisition, ascension, or monetization. And I go into the details of what that means in this chapter. It's really the only 3 ways that you can grow your business. And if you just do that one step of determining focus, you can have a huge change in your entire business. But I also have 8 other ways to Amazon proof your business. Basically the idea of making it competition proof to even someone as big as Amazon.com. So if you'd like to get your hands on a free copy of my book, go to AmazonProofBook.com. Sign up and you will get a free copy and get the chance to purchase a physical copy of it for a special price. In addition to that, if you happen to be in the Josephine County area or nearby and you're looking to have a speaker come and discuss these type of issues with your organization, club, or group of friends, then I have a limited calendar that I may be able to fit you into. Go check out brianjpombo.com/speaking and fill out the application. We'll be sure and get back to you on that. And now let's get back to our show. What's your top selling product? I know you've only been involved for 2 months.
I'm only a couple months in. Brian, there's so many of them. We have one that's called Cha-Cha Chili, and that flies out the door. We have cheddar jalapeno cornbread. We can't keep that in stock. Absolutely famous for chimichurri. And we have this one thing, it's called the Extraordinary Cheese Dip. We use lemon dilly, which is also good on your salmon. So lemon dilly, CCB, which is kind of a cheesy type thing, and this other one is called 3 onion. Mix those together with light mayonnaise, cream cheese, and shredded cheese. Pop it in the oven or the microwave, and you will get a bubbly cauldron of extraordinary cheese dip. The Epicure products are dips, marinades, dry rubs, the pre-done pouches. I mean, we sell everything. We have what's called the Epic Life Collection, and that has a little bit of everything in it. It also comes with some portion control cups because people either don't eat enough or they eat too much. If you were to eat with those portion control cups, you'd be money. The other thing I was going to tell you is in the gluten-free world, because I have to eat gluten-free, it is difficult at best to get good desserts. Mm-hmm. Epicure is famous for their carrot cake that can also be used for zucchini bread or zucchini cake. We have what's called summer berry, and the summer berry is a sugar dip that you take a couple of tablespoons, put it in your Cool Whip. You can eat it with a fork. It's so good, but it's made to dip your fruit in. We made it at Candy's house last week, and she ate it with a fork. She just took a fork and ate it right out of the bowl. So the summer berry sugar dip is amazing. And obviously you want to, if you're not worried about sugar, go ahead and eat the sugar dip. However, in everything else, it's not just sugar dip. The summer berry is phenomenal, but it comes in the Epic Life Collection. So the Epic Life Collection, like I said, it just gives you a smattering of all the products that you can try. So that's what I recommend if people want to go to my website and get that. That's where I recommend people start. We have salad dressing too. So we have balsamic vinegar, creamy ranch, Caesar, Greek. Everything fresh at home, Brian. It's all about fresh.
Got it.
I think people are tired of eating out.
Yeah.
Because it's a lot of the times, we eat at Tap Rock all the time. We love to eat at Tap Rock and Taroko. We love to support Taco Mania and our local community. We love to support local. It's just nothing like eating at home.
And sometimes they don't have a choice. So, just recently we've been going through the COVID-19 situation. How has these events of the past, year and a half, 2 years affected your life and your business?
It never slowed me down doing anything else, but from what I understand with Epicure, people went to virtual parties, on Zoom parties, and now they're saying, because Canada is starting to open up a little bit, but now they're saying, to go back to in-home parties, because if you've never had the summer berry sugar dip, or you've never experienced or a good Mexican fast, like a full Mexican meal in 15 minutes,
tough to do that online.
It's tough to do that online. If you actually want to be experiential like I am, in person is the only way to do that. So, and I'm happy to do in person. If anybody wants to try the extraordinary cheese dip, I will make them a bubbly cauldron of cheese dip. And then because I can't do any dairy, I do my bubbly cauldron of cheese dip with veganese. There's fake cream cheese over at Winco, and I get fake shredded cheese at Winco. So I'm still able to do the cheese dip with all my fake stuff, with all my non-dairy stuff, and it turns out beautifully. If anybody has had to sacrifice gluten and all the other stuff, maybe Epicure can bring that back for them because of their strict guidelines of the way they manufacture their stuff. And with all the fake dairy products out there, there's no reason for people not to be able to participate.
Yeah.
In that. It's amazing.
Wow, that's just great.
So I just talk all day long about the Epicure products.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, it's important to be enthusiastic about whatever
well, I think
it is
so.
that you're interested
I think that
in, so
usually
that's
helps,
great.
doesn't it?
Yeah. If you and I were to get together, and we could talk before then, but just for the sake of argument, we were to get together in a year, and we were to talk about all the things that happened over the past 12 months, what would have had to have happened for you to feel happy with your progress, both professionally and personally?
A year from now, I want to be a global director with Epicure. Global director. I'm a leader right now. So I have about, I think it's 5 more rungs, 6 more rank advancements to go. And we would have Epicure on the side of a mobile pet unit.
Yeah.
The Spay and Neuter clinic. That's our goal. And then if I could just insert a vision that I see for Candy, is I see Candy Morash being a regional vice president with Arbonne. Because this year that we're looking at is an incredible one. So many possibilities. Candy and I, we just swing at everything that comes over the plate.
Yeah.
So I see incredible things happening for us. Audrey, our other girl, I see her being a global director as well. It's huge. It's just huge what's going to happen in the next year.
And what's that going to do for you? It's clear what would happen if you were able to get the clinic. What does global director mean to you?
What global director means to me is how many people I would have helped along the way. Because I'm a helpaholic, Brian.
Yeah.
I'm a helpaholic, seriously. I love to help people, and I love to be right in the middle of it. Transformation is one of my favorite things, to watch someone transform. So if someone had been out of work, maybe COVID hasn't been good to them, or their unemployment ran out, if they start with Epicure, they start to progress through the ranks and help other people, because that's the way to get to the top, is you help enough people get what they want, and you get what you want. So just the transformation of being able to watch somebody maybe get that lifestyle bonus to where they can afford to go get a new car. There's people that cannot, right now, as we speak, there's people that cannot afford groceries. What if that person that can't afford groceries a year from now was making $1,000 a week and went from not being able to even put gas in their car to being a huge success story? That's what I want to see, is transformation. I'm looking for transformation in the next year. Who can I help on their journey?
Awesome. What are the obstacles standing in your way of getting?
I don't have any. They ask me that all the time. People ask me that all the time, and I say, can you hear my clocks?
Yeah.
Aren't they cool? I see green lights. When I wake up in the morning, I see green lights. And our kids were hurdle runners, track hurdlers in high school. I used to watch them. And, the front leg has to come up and the back leg has to come up. And just watching them effortlessly go over the hurdles, it just inspired me. Because, every once in a while their back toe caught on one and knocked it down. Guess what? They finished the race. That's what we are in this family. We finish the race. We don't ever give up. We never give up. I see green lights all the way on the journey. I think that it's an incredible one. I'm excited to be on it. And I look forward to sharing it with as many people as I can. Stop and think about that for a second, Brian. In Oregon, I sponsored 16 people last month in Oregon, Alabama, and Arizona. We had a new team member come in on Arizona through Chef Christie in her team. Stop and think about that for just a moment for the state of Oregon. That's 12 consultants in the state of Oregon. And I found out we have one in Oregon City. So I have a consultant in Oregon City and someone else does. That's 12 consultants in Oregon.
Wow.
Okay, a year from now, I want there to be way more than 12.
Yeah.
Way more than 12. I put little pins, map pins, up on a map in my office upstairs. I want every state to be Team Hiler. Every single state. I mean, if it's only been in the United States for 2 years, How many people really know?
Yep.
How much room is there at the top? Ground floor. Like when I say ground floor opportunity, 12 consultants in the entire state of Oregon. That's just a mind blower. That's like Google opportunity, right? Mm-hmm. That's like, for being a local here, I'll tell you the story. Dutch Bros. These are two brothers that had a dream. They were doing the Dutcher Creek golf course down there, and they were done. And they're farmers, you know, they have homes and stuff where they're growing things. And they got bored. What are we going to do next? What are we going to do next? Oh, well, why don't we sell sweet coffee? So the brothers, they go down to Walmart. Hey, would you mind, you know, if we set up a kiosk out in front and sell sweet coffee? Walmart said, yeah, go ahead. Well, Dane and Travis, here they are selling sweet coffee at Walmart. And they'd be like, hey, man, how's your day going? Hey, you want what you had yesterday? And they were such incredible personalities. People were like a magnet to them. They wanted what they were drinking because they were so incredible. Here they are causing ruckus out in front of Walmart. And Walmart's like, you know, we're having traffic jams. We're not really sure that we can let y'all clog the whole parking lot because here they are selling sweet coffee in the parking lot of Walmart. Who doesn't want that, you know? So they ended up getting the kiosk downtown and then buying the coffee house. Mm-hmm. One thing after another. And the people in the beginning, in the very beginning, Travis and Dane would approach their friends and say, $5,000 and you can have a stand. People were saying either here's my check, or they were saying you have got to be kidding me. You guys are crazy to think that anyone is going to spend $3 for a cup of coffee. Not much less $5,000 for a stand. Like you're talking about $5,000. Why would I do that? So for the people that wrote the check, they're super happy they did. You know, they're like, yes! Because how much did they make on that $5,000 check? Yeah. For the folks that did not write the check, I'm pretty sure they've regretted it every day since then. So when I say ground floor opportunity, $99 for a starter kit, I mean, write the check for $99 because the possibilities are endless. We know people in Florida and Texas and Michigan. Most people know people in every state. Mm-hmm. Not everybody has to cook, but everybody has to eat. Get on the bandwagon. Let's be a success story together. That's our inspiration for our family, is Travis and Dane, because, I mean, they had a dream, and they didn't let anything stop them. Walt Disney, same thing. Colonel Sanders, same thing. Babe Ruth held the world record for home runs, and what people don't know about Babe Ruth is he also held the world record for strikes. And he probably still holds the world's record for strikeouts because he swung at everything that came down the plate. That's what I do. I swing at everything. You know, what's the worst that can happen? It's either a ball or a strike or a home run. I mean, what is the absolute worst that's going to happen? You know, so that's what I would say to people. I would say Travis and Dane, Dutch Bros, are now spreading. My girlfriend Lisa, she and her family moved to Arkansas and started 7 Brew Coffee. And they just opened their 13th location and sold franchises. Wow. They had a dream. And they didn't think that it was going to happen in Grants Pass. They had family in Arkansas. So they moved to Arkansas. And now they're huge. Everybody can look them up too. 7 Brew Coffee in Arkansas. Huge. Amazing. That's what I would encourage. I would encourage for anybody that has given up on having a dream. Given up. Like it's not going to happen. Right? There's no way possible. I'm 59 and I still have dreams, right? Audrey's 87, Candy's 74. We're never too old to have dreams, ever. And if you've given up on your dream, you've given up on life. If someone has a dream, whether it's income or being a helpaholic, I mean, I don't think anybody ever wakes up and says, I want to sell cha-cha chili. You know? Do you think? Do you think anybody does that?
Of course not.
Maybe I could sell some summer berry today. You know, maybe my day is going to end up with some cheddar jalapeno cornbread. You know, it's like, I don't think anybody really wakes up and aspires. I just go back to the founder of Epicure not being able to feed her children healthy food. And so she started growing food in her backyard, growing spices, growing lavender, growing rosemary, growing everything in her backyard, making her own little tinctures and stuff, you know, and recipes in her kitchen. Now she's Epicure. Same with the Arbonne story. The Arbonne story has been an inspiration for me for 21 years. Peter Mork, he had a dream. He knew that skin, being the largest organ on our body, it was important that what we put on it be safe. Petter was another guy in the barn, and so he hired microbiologists and stuff to create formulas safe to put on the skin. Because there's the other stuff out there that's pink that's not safe for the skin. That's just my opinion. That's my disclaimer. Petter wanted the skincare that we use to be safe to put on our skin because it absorbs into our body. So Petter decided in Arbonne, Switzerland, to make lotions and potions, put them in jars, start distributing them. And now Arbonne is 40 years old. Arbonne is 40 years old because Petter had a dream. He had a dream. He wanted to bring this to the world. And he has. Arbonne is international. So, and it's not that I'm not passionate about Arbonne anymore. It's just that I'm going with Epicure. Candy's doing Arbonne. We're splitting it right down the middle. I do the Epicure. Candy does the Arbonne. Focused energy on what we're doing.
Yeah. Well, that's beyond inspirational, Joy. It's been really great. Why don't you remind all the listeners how they can find out more about Epicure and everything?
Should I give everybody my telephone number? That in later?
Yeah, we'll put it in the description. You can see the telephone number there.
Okay, how about joyhiler.epicure.com? Would probably be the best place for somebody to go. You can't sign up there. You have to contact me to sign up with your $99. And you get, by the way, $225 worth of merchandise. It's not just your name on a piece of paper. You actually get a kit, a starter kit that gets you going, your business starter kit. And then joyhiler.epicure.com. If anyone wants to try things, I recommend the Epic Life Collection. And if there's anyone that wants to activate a dream they've had for a long time. You know, for us, we love to build cars. We're building cars. I'm working Epicure as hard as I can because I have a 1960 Volkswagen in my shop that I want to build. And I don't want anybody to tell me I can't put hot pink glitter paint on my Volkswagen. That's our family's passion, is building our cars. Well, my husband's going to retire in about a year and a half. And I want to have a significant Epicure income to support our habits, our hobbies. So if anybody if there's something in your life, you say, I want a new car, I want this, I want that, maybe just to eat better, you know, whatever it is, I'm happy to help with all of it.
That's great. That's really great. Well, Joy Hiler, this has been a lot of fun. Thanks so much for being on Grants Pass VIP.
Thank you, Brian, for coming out to the chateau and doing it.
Wow. Joy is an amazing person. And in addition to that, she's a force of nature. If you can't notice through this conversation, she is so much fun. I got so much out of our conversation and getting to know her a little better. I met her through the Chamber of Commerce in Grants Pass. She's just a fabulous person. There's so many things that I think you can take from this. One of the things is I'm reminded of the quote. I have a mentor that uses it all the time. He says, you got to build a life that you don't need a vacation from. And just right off the bat, meeting Joy on her 30-acre ranch and getting to see all the classic cars that they're building there. And I helped her, before we even started recording, helped her corral her chickens and her peacocks. And we just had a really good talk just leading up to the conversation recording of things and kind of showing me this dream home that they've created. I mean, she is building that life that you don't need a vacation from, which is something I think we can all appreciate. Love how she says, I want to own my life, own my time. That's kind of the entrepreneurial spirit that you get from a lot of people. You'll hear that kind of over and over again from the people who are business owners that we've had a chance to interview here, which is really cool. It's not for everybody, but for those people who have that perspective, business ownership is kind of the only option for them, right? I think if you can get half of the energy that Joy has, the positive energy that she exudes, if any of us can get half of that and use it within our life, it's not about personality. She has a very outgoing, very vivacious personality, but it's not about that because we're not all going to be that way. But if you can take some of that energy, the positive energy that she exudes, and be able to add it to your life, that's cool. And that's what makes her a magnetic personality. That's what makes her good at what she does. And it feeds back into her career, which is it's really fabulous to see somebody like that. And also someone I think you can hold a conversation with her at any time. And not only will she get you excited about what she's doing, I think she'll automatically excite you about what you're doing too. So it was fabulous meeting with Joy. Can't wait to see how things go for her in the future.
Join us again on the next Grants Pass VIP, brought to you by the team at BrianJPombo.com, helping movers and shakers in Southern Oregon and beyond stand out. That's BrianJPombo.com. If you or someone you know would like to be a guest or a sponsor on Grants Pass VIP, go to grantspassvip.com/contact. Guests who appear on the show do not necessarily endorse the opinions of the host or sponsors. Our theme music is Funshine by Kevin MacLeod. Our host is a Grants Pass resident and business strategist, Brian Pombo. I'm executive producer Sean E. Douglas. Until next time, live rogue and have fun.